Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the June 25th, 2020 meeting of the Miami City Commission. Pursuant to Executive Order number 20-139, issued by the Office of Governor Ron DeSantis on June 3rd, 2020, municipalities may conduct meetings of their governing boards without having a quorum of its members present physically or at any specific location, and utilizing communications media technology such as telephonic or video conferencing as provided by Section 120.54 5B2 Florida statutes. Procedures for the public will be explained by the city attorney shortly. Procedures for the swearing in of parties for the planning and zoning indoor quasi-judicial items will be explained by the city clerk. The members of the city commission appearing remotely for this meeting are Senator Alex Diaz de la Portilla, Joe Carollo, Manola Reyes, Ken Russell, the vice chair, and me, Keon Harbin, the chair. Also appearing on the day, really, but remotely, is Art Noriega, our city manager, Victoria Mendez, our city attorney, and Todd Hannon, our city clerk. Madam City Attorney, please state the procedure to be followed during this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Any person who is a lobbyist pursuant to Chapter 2, Article 6 of the City Code must register with the city clerk and comply with related city requirements for lobbyists before appearing before the City Commission. A person may not lobby a city official, board member, or staff member until registering. A copy of the code section about lobbyists is available in the city clerk's office or online at municode.com. Any person making a presentation, formal request, or petition to the City Commission concerning real property must make the disclosures required by the city code in writing. A copy of the city code section is available at the office of the city clerk online at municode.com. Pursuant to section 2-33, subsection F and subsection G of the city code, the agenda and the material for each item on the agenda today for this virtual meeting was published and made available to the mayor, members of the city commission, and to the public at least 5 full business days in advance of the meeting. The material for each item on the agenda is available during business hours at the city clerk's office and online 24 hours a day at miamigov.com. Any person may be heard by the city commission through the chair and upon registering pursuant to the published notice for not more than 2 minutes on any proposition before the city commission, unless modified by the chair. Since this is a virtual meeting and is authorized by the governor of the state of Florida, members of the public wishing to address the body may do so by visiting miamigov.com/virtual meeting to upload their video comments or to submit their written comments via the online comment form. Members of the public may also call 305-250-5353 to provide comments via the dedicated City of Miami public comment voicemail. Members of the public may also pre-register to provide live public comment by phone during the meeting. You may pre-register by phone by calling 305-250-5350 or online at miamigov.com/government/live-public-comment. All comments submitted will be included as part of the public record for this virtual meeting and will be considered by the City Commission prior to any action taken. The city will accommodate any speakers desiring to appear in person, subject to all applicable emergency measures in place to prevent the further spread of COVID-19. Speakers who appear in person will be subject to screening for symptoms of COVID-19. Any persons exhibiting any symptoms of COVID-19 will not be permitted to enter City Hall. All interested parties are required to abide by all state, county, and local emergency orders and are urged to remain at home and practice social distancing. If the proposition is being continued or rescheduled, the opportunity to be heard may be at such later date before the City Commission takes action on such proposition. When addressing the City Commission, the member must first state his or her name, his or her address, and what item will be spoken about. When the City Commission takes action or votes on any proposition before it, it shall do so by roll call, which shall be recorded by the clerk and included in the record. Anyone wishing to appeal any decision made by the City Commission for any matter considered at this meeting may need a verbatim record of the item. A video of this meeting may be requested at the Office of Communications or viewed online at miamigov.com. Please silence all cell phones and other noise-making devices. Any person with a disability requiring assistance, auxiliary aids, and services for this meeting may notify the city clerk. Please note, commissioners have generally been briefed by city staff and the city attorney on items on the agenda today. PZ items shall proceed according to Section 7.1.4 of the Miami 21 zoning ordinance as temporarily modified pursuant to emergency ordinance numbers 13902 and 13903. Pursuant to emergency ordinance number 13903, parties for any PZ items, including any applicant, appellant, appellee, city staff, and any person recognized by the decision-making body as a qualified intervener, as well as the applicant's representatives, any experts testifying on behalf of the applicant, appellant, or appellee, may either be physically present at City Hall to be sworn in by oath or affirmation by the city clerk, or may appear virtually and make arrangements to be sworn in by oath or affirmation in person at their location by an individual qualified to perform such duty. Pursuant to emergency ordinance number 13903, Members of the general public who are not parties to an action pending before the City Commission are not required to be sworn in by oath or affirmation. The members of the City Commission shall disclose any ex parte communications to remove the presumption of prejudice pursuant to Florida Statute Section 286.0115 and Section 7.1.4.5 of the Miami 21 zoning ordinance. Staff will then briefly present each item to be heard. For applications requiring City Commission approval, the applicant will then present its application or request to the City Commission. If the applicant agrees with the staff recommendation, the City Commission may proceed to its deliberation and decision. The applicant may also waive the right to an evidentiary hearing on the record. The order of presentation shall be as set forth in Miami 21 and in the City Code, providing the appellant shall present first. For appeals, the appellant will present its appeal to the City Commission, followed by the appellee. Staff will be allowed to make any recommendation they may have. The City of Miami requires that anyone requesting action by the City Commission must disclose before the hearing anything provided to anyone for agreement to support or withhold objection to the requested action pursuant to Section 2-8 of the City Code. Any documents offered to the City Commissioners that have not been provided 7 days before the meeting as part of the agenda materials will be entered into the record at the City Commission's discretion. If any Commissioner thinks that documents supplied to the Commission less than 7 days before merit a continuance, the item may be continued by the City Commission. The City of Miami is using Zoom to hold its June 25th, 2020 virtual regular City Commission meeting. I'm sorry, Commissioner.
It's
The City
okay.
of Miami is using Zoom to hold its May 20th.
It's okay, we all know that.
Yeah, it's like having a baby. They do
That's
this.
right.
Just give them a treat.
That's right, that's right.
Am the treat. The City of Miami is using Zoom to hold its May 28th, 2020 virtual regular City Commission meeting. Zoom is a cloud platform for video and audio conferencing, collaboration, chat, and webinars across mobile devices, desktops, telephones, and room systems. In order to ensure that the public has the ability to view the meeting, the city's communications department will broadcast the meeting through all the usual channels and avenues that are provided when a City Commission meeting is held fully in Commission chambers at City Hall. The meeting can be viewed live on Miami TV at miamigov.com/TV, through the city's Facebook page, on the city's Periscope page, and on the city's YouTube channel, and on Comcast Channel 77. The broadcast will also have closed captioning. Additionally, the city has not selected a virtual platform that requires the city to public to purchase or download any additional software or equipment to watch this meeting. Aside from the Zoom platform and that the participant will be appearing remotely, the public will have no discernible difference in their ability to watch the meeting. The city has developed several new methods of ensuring public comment for a virtual meeting. The first new option allows the public to provide public comments via the dedicated City of Miami public comment voicemail by calling 305-250-5353, where individuals will be able to leave a 2-minute message that will be played during the virtual commission meeting. The second option allows for the public to submit a 2-minute video to be played during the virtual commission meeting. The third option allows the public to submit comments via the city's online comment form. The comments submitted through the comment form have been distributed to the elected officials and city administration throughout the day, so that elected officials can consider the comments prior to taking any action. Additionally, the online comment form will remain open during the meeting to accept comments and distribute to the elected officials up until the chairman closes public comment. The fourth option allows the public to pre-register to provide live public comment by phone during the virtual commission meeting. For all of the aforementioned options, all public comments received will be included in the public record of the meeting. For these options, the city also created a simple set of instructions explaining how the public may submit their comments with either option. Those instructions were provided in a notice to the public and published online on miamigov.com/virtual meeting. Additionally, like any other city commission meeting, the public may provide public comment at City Hall. The city has set up a terminal in the event members of the public travel to City Hall to provide public comment. Due to COVID-19, all speakers designed to appear in person will be subject to all applicable emergency measures in place to prevent the further spread of COVID-19. Speakers who appear in person will be subject to screening for symptoms of COVID-19. Any persons exhibiting any symptoms of COVID-19 will not be permitted to enter City Hall, but will be able to participate through the remote option described earlier. These public comment options established and provided for the regular City Commission meeting comply with Section 286.014 and Section 120.54 of Florida statutes. The city has published the agenda as well as included in the notice to the public pursuant to our city code and the items and the topics that will be discussed at the virtual City Commission meeting. The public has been given the opportunity to provide the public comment during the meeting and within the reasonable proximity and time before the meeting via the public comment voicemail, online public comment form, public comment video, and live public comment by phone. Section 286.0114, Subsection 4, Subsection C of Florida statutes authorizes the city to prescribe procedures or forms for an individual to use in order to inform the board or commission of a desire to be heard, to indicate his or her support, opposition, or neutrality on a proposition. The city, through its public comment options, has provided 5 different procedures and forms to indicate, among other things, his or her support, opposition, or neutrality on the items and topics to be discussed at the virtual commission meeting. This information on how to submit his comments was provided in the notice to the public on a dedicated webpage and via the social media channels. Commissioners, please confirm you are comfortable with these notice provisions and the uniform procedures we have established for this virtual meeting.
Yes.
I am.
Thank you.
Mr. Clerk, please state your procedures to be followed.
Thank you, Chair. The procedures for individuals who will be providing testimony to be sworn in for planning and zoning items and any quasi-judicial items on today's City Commission agenda will be as follows. The members of city staff or any other individuals required to be sworn in who are currently present at City Hall will be sworn in by me, the city clerk, immediately after I finish explaining these procedures. Those individuals who are appearing remotely may be sworn in now or at any time prior to the individual providing testimony for planning and zoning items and/or quasi-judicial items. Pursuant to emergency ordinance number 13903, those individuals appearing remotely may be sworn in at their location by an individual qualified to administer the oath. After you are sworn in, please be sure to complete, sign, and notarize the affidavit provided to you by the city attorney's office. Each individual who will provide testimony must be sworn in and execute an affidavit. Please email a scanned version of the signed affidavit to the city clerk at thannon@miamigov.com prior to providing testimony on the planning and zoning item and/or quasi-judicial item. The affidavit shall be included in the record for the relevant item for which you will be providing testimony. I will now administer the oath. If you can raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will be giving at today's meeting is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And your response is? Yes. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Mr. Clerk, are there any mayoral vetoes?
Chair, there are no mayoral vetoes.
Okay. Madam City Attorney, are there any pocket items that need to be read into the record?
Yes, Chair, there are a couple pocket items.
Can you read the titles into the record, please?
Yes. The first pocket item I have is from Commissioner Reyes, and I'll read it into the record. It is a resolution of the Miami City Commission directing the city manager, all applicable city departments, as well as Schutz & Bowen, O'Melveny, and Myers LLP, and Fowler White Burnett, outside counsel, should such be involved, to cease all current applications and/or processes, whether currently underway or not, regarding and in relation to the proposed rezoning of city-owned property located at 1400 Northwest 37th Avenue, Miami, Florida, commonly known as International Links Melreese Country Club, until at least all lease agreements associated with the proposed development of the property by Miami Freedom Park LLC have been approved by the City Commission. That is from Commissioner Reyes.
We'll title that one PI number 1.
Thank you. Then I have a pocket from Commissioner Carollo, which I will read into the record as well. A resolution of the Miami City Commission urging the Miami-Dade County Supervisor of Elections to designate the Hispanic Branch Library and/or the Shenandoah Branch Library as early voting sites for the primary election scheduled for August 18, 2020, directing the city clerk to transmit a copy of this resolution to the officials stated herein, and authorizing the city attorney to take any and all action necessary to ensure that the Hispanic Branch Library and/or the Shenandoah Branch Library are designated as an additional early voting site.
We will title that one pocket item number 2.
Then I believe the mayor has a pocket item. Mr. Mayor?
You have it with you? You want to read the title or you want me to read it?
I can read the title for you. I just, since you, I wanted to confirm. I can read it for you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. A resolution of the Miami City Commission urging the United States Congress to designate June 19 of every year as Juneteenth Independence Day, a legal federal holiday in recognition of June 19, 1865, the date on which news of the end of slavery reached the slaves in the southwestern states, directing the city clerk to transmit copies of this resolution to all members of the United States Congress upon its adoption.
I'll title that one PI number 3.
And
Yes.
I believe that all the pockets are read into the record, but I just wanted to also remind you, Chair, that we have an emergency ordinance that's not on the agenda. And I wanted to read that title into the record.
We'll title that one EO number 1.
And this one is an emergency ordinance of the Miami City Commission by 4/5 affirmative vote, amending Chapter 37 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Offenses Miscellaneous, more particularly by adding new Section 37-15, titled Enforcement of Emergency Orders of the City of Miami, Florida, to provide for enforcement by the city for violations of emergency orders issued by the City of Miami, Florida, through the civil citation process pursuant to Chapter 2, Article 10 of the City Code of the City of Miami, Florida, providing for penalties and providing for an effective date.
Okay.
I believe that covers everything.
All right. Are there any other commissioners that have any other items that they want to add? No? All right. Before we open the floor for public comment, starting with the people that are outside, I want to first say to our vice chairman, happy birthday, sir. Everyone is King's birthday. He's another year wiser.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, everyone. 47, getting there.
Typically, people say that you should be nice to the person on their birthday, but the way that I grew up, you get licks on your birthday. So you walk away with a few hickeys on your head, you know, it's part of the game. Sorry.
Yeah, they would punch you on your arm.
Exactly.
That's right.
Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll open the floor for public comment. Everyone, you have 2 minutes to address this body. You may state your first name, your last name. You may state your address, but please state what item it is that you're speaking to. So once again, you have 2 minutes to address this body. At 2 minutes, you may be cut off. So just be aware of that. State your first name, your last name. You may state your address, and then what item it is that you're speaking about. And so we'll start with the lectern outside. I believe it's a lectern out there, recognizing the gentlewoman.
Good morning, and thank you all for the opportunity. My name is Frances Aldrich Sevilla Sacasa, and I believe you want my address, right? No? Okay. I am a resident of Miami. I have been for over 60 years. I was born and raised in Miami, Florida. I was born in 1956, and I've had the great pleasure of seeing Miami develop and flourish as a vibrant community over that period. We are very committed to Coconut Grove as well. We own property in Coconut Grove. My office is in Coconut Grove. My 2 daughters attended Carrollton School of the Sacred Heart. So we feel that we are Grovites. We love the community and want to see it continue to flourish. As we all know, investments in education is key to continue to build a vibrant community. And over 60 years, that's exactly what Carrollton School of the Sacred Heart has done. We have helped nourish young girls to become fabulous young women, to have the goals and criteria of the Sacred Heart embedded in everything they do, very dedicated to social justice, and they're impelled to action. Those are the Sacred Heart women. It's a shame that we are one of the few major, I think the only major metropolitan city in the United States that does not offer primary education for primary school boys. So we would like to offer that fantastic education to people in our own community, to families that also have boys. But today we're talking about historic, environmental, and preservation issues. And I don't think there's any better example than Carrollton, with the two campuses that Carrollton has nourished and grown over the past 60 years. When you look at what they've done with the historic buildings on their property, with the canopies that they have preserved and embellished and grown, this is an example of what Woodbine could become. We are extremely committed and dedicated to making sure that that happens at Woodbine as well. We have the experience, we have the passion, and we will help to preserve those buildings and the canopy that is so important for the Grove. We've seen a lot of building and development in the Grove. I can assure you that the Woodbine School is going to preserve the great things that the Grove has to offer while continuing to offer fantastic education and social justice to our families in the area. So I support Woodbine, and I hope that you support the project as well. Thank you very much for the opportunity today.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I see. So I can take the mask off. Are you gonna tell me when I can speak?
Go ahead, man. You're recognized.
So my name is Ebony Rhodes. I live at 3146 Hibiscus Street. I am speaking today first as a proud member of the Coconut Grove Village West and as an owner of a historic wood frame vernacular home, which I treasure. I see and experience the pace of development firsthand. If this is about ensuring that a historic building space is preserved for the benefit of the community, I can also speak as Carrollton's Director of Community Relations and affirm that Carrollton has proven itself to be an excellent steward of not just our historic property, El Jardín, but also the history and the context of its founding. And we also share it with the public, our students, parents, faculty and staff, and our community partners. It is from both of these perspectives that I am proud to speak up in support of the value of Sacred Heart education in our community. Thank you.
Should I remove my mask? Oh, I can start? Okay. Hi, my name is Shakay Grady. I live at 2300 Southwest 3rd Avenue. Thank you for your time. Will the Woodbine School be an asset to this community? Unequivocally, yes. I want to live near a values-driven institution of learning like Sacred Heart schools because my own experience and history shows the positive impact the school has on its surrounding community. It's a dynamic nexus of the following things: an exploration of ideas, a cultivation of the intellect and the talents of young people, service to the community as an extension of this classroom, and investing in responsible stewardship of the physical landscaping where all this learning takes place. I became a member of the Carrollton community through my work with an organization called Breakthrough Miami. Breakthrough has partnered with the Carrollton community for the last 10 years to support its own vibrant learning community of highly motivated and traditionally underrepresented 5th through 12th grade kids so that they can be successful when they leave high school and develop leadership skills. Our partnership is a concrete example of Carrollton's Sacred Heart values and what a school like the Woodbine School and its presence in the community can do for all of us. Thank you.
Okay.
You can see yourself right here?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm not going to go inside. Okay.
No.
Take my mask off, I guess.
Your name and your address.
Good morning. My name is Paul LaRoche. My address is 1765 Wakina Drive, Miami, Florida, 33133. Oh, okay. All right. So I am here as a father, as a member of the community, and also as a father of a Carrollton daughter. She's been in Carrollton since the first grade. She's now in 10th grade, going to 11th grade. And she actually was going to come with me. Obviously, teenagers, they go to sleep late now in the quarantine. She wasn't able to get up. But the reason why I'm here is to plead on behalf of the Carrollton School, the boys' school. There's a couple of things. Obviously, with this environment, the way that we can see all the uproar going on in the country, not in the world, it's pretty obvious that the people are now saying that they want a change in everything, including the school system. And I think part of what I'm seeing as the opportunity is that Carrollton's boys' school will be one of the first ones to be able to offer such a great education to not only boys, but also to some of the underserved in our community. To me, I feel this will bridge the gap between our kids and the kids that are not so well off or that don't have as much and that tend to not go in the right direction because of lack of opportunities. So I'm making a plea on behalf of the boys' school, not only because of the education that Carrollton has to offer, but because I feel it'll be great for our community. It'll be a great thing to be able to bring kids together that actually will grow up together, will be part of the community, will understand the community, and wants to take ownership of it at some point, because as we all get older, the kids will be taking over, and being together at such a young age, to me, was sort of give them an edge, an opportunity to not have to deal with some of the things that we have to deal with, some of the things that I have to deal with. I can see my daughter, changing my daughter. I went to a boys' school, a Catholic school in Haiti. And the difference it made for me allowed me to help her, to assist her in going to Carrollton. And I can see the type of education she's getting, the level of community awareness, the level of community dedication that she has, I never had at 16 years old. So I can only imagine what it would do for our community, a greater community in Miami, if the school was to get started. I know some of the pushback is about traffic, is about beautifying. I don't believe the price, the cost of not dealing with a little bit of traffic, I'm sure it will increase traffic. I'm not gonna lie, I know it does. And I, for one, living in Grove, it affects me as well. But I believe in my heart of heart that the little price that we'll pay will be all worth it at the end. So that's what I have. I don't know if there's any questions. Is there anything else I can do, sir?
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Okay. Am I ready?
You're recognized, ma'am.
Good morning. My name is Isabel Singletary, and I am here to support Woodbine School for Boys and the Villa Woodbine property. I've lived in Miami for 50 years on Tiger Tail, right next to the property for part of those years. And I've seen the growth of this area. I've also been part of the preservation efforts at Vizcaya. So I know I understand and have seen the successes that the El Jardín property has had in preserving historic property in Miami. Woodbine is a precious property. I was a classmate. I went to school with Walter DeGarmo, the architect of Villa Woodbine, with his granddaughter. And I was very close to his parents, his father and his mother. I am steeped in the historical significance that Miami has. And it is essential that we preserve this, that Carrollton is the people who Carrollton have trained and have the experience they have can be transferred to Woodbine so that it is not lost to other interests or possible development. The preservation of El Jardín has been extraordinary. The stewardship of it has been extraordinary, and we've opened it to the community. It's been open to the community. We've been able to see it. So it's the kind of value that I would want for Woodbine. So I wholeheartedly encourage you to please vote for it. Thank you.
Just press it? Oh, let's go. Okay. Good morning. I'm here to speak on Agenda PZ7. It's a Village Montessori appeal. I represent Zulema Rivero, Maritza Barrios, Maritza Vasquez, who live and own property across Southwest 21st Terrace from the applicant's property. My clients respectfully request that this properly noticed agenda item be heard today as scheduled after 4 deferrals starting over 8 months ago, well before the pandemic. Thank you. The applicant informed the city last Saturday, June 20th, that it opted to, quote, wait until the pandemic ends to proceed with its hearing. There's no such option in the city code, nor in the recently enacted ordinance addressing virtual quasi-judicial hearings. The only such option is included in the city's hold harmless document, excuse me, that applicants sign as part of that the new virtual quasi-judicial process that we're undertaking right now. But the applicant did not choose to sign that hold harmless document, and therefore the applicant has no right to this option because it is only available to those who sign the hold harmless. On Monday, June 22nd, the applicant informed my clients and other neighbors that as of that the June 25th City Commission hearing would be deferred to continue discussions with the neighbors. This bit of disinformation has acted to encourage neighbors from participating in this hearing because the decision to defer to the end of the pandemic is already made, according to the applicant's communication with the city. My clients have waited for this hearing since last August. During that time, they have attended neighborhood meetings with the property owner and its previous attorney. I have met with the property owner and his previous attorney and reported back to my clients. I met with the applicant's current attorney, architect, and others and reported back to my clients. And my client's position has remained constant. They oppose this application for this hearing. They want you to hear this case and decide today as scheduled. This is your decision, not the applicant's. Thank you.
Ask a question. I want to show these pictures. Would I put it in front of my face? I guess. I guess. Yeah, I guess. All right.
Okay, good morning. My name is Zulema Rivero, and I live and own my home at 2121 Southwest 13th Avenue, directly across from the proposed daycare. My family and I have lived here for the past 50 years, since 1971. I am here requesting for you to deny the appeal filed by the Village Montessori School. I received mailing notice from the City of Miami regarding the development application and the hearings before the Planning, Zoning, and Appeal Board and City Commission. This application, if approved, will permit a project that is too large for the area proposed. It will add 186 preschoolers, 23 staff/teachers, plus parking, drop-off and pickup on the property directly across from the street of my home. This will degrade the health, safety, tranquility, character, and overall welfare of the neighborhood and negatively impact me and my family as an abutting neighbor by creating excessive intensity, congestion, light, glare, and most of all, traffic. These negative impacts are not shared by the public at large. Please see the package of 13 pictures that were provided to the city clerk earlier this week. Page 2 shows an extremely large amount of traffic congestion that currently comes off of Coral Way onto Southwest 13th Avenue, corner of the proposed daycare. Page 3 shows one of the many accidents on the corner of Coral Way and 13th Avenue. Pages 4, 5, and 6 show a few of the many more accidents on 13th Avenue and 21st Terrace. The accident on page 6 hit home as it involved my niece, which has also lived on 13th Avenue all her life. We thank God that she wasn't badly hurt when she was hit. Page 7 is another example of the congestion on the corner of the proposed preschool, despite 21st Terrace and 13th Avenue being a one-way street. If you closely look at page 7, you can see that at that particular moment, there was yet another accident waiting to happen to be caused by the wrong way driver. If this is not denied, this large project would negatively impact us, the homeowners, and the rest of the neighbors, since at least 50%, about 90 cars of those attending the proposed preschool will turn on 21st Terrace into our neighborhood as they exit the preschool. The other 50%, about another 90 cars, will either attempt to go straight towards 8th Street or to be halted by the 15-mile speed limit on Coral Way K-8 school. But most of them will attempt to make a U-turn to go back onto Coral Way. I keep emphasizing attempt because, as you can see on pages 10, 11, 12, and 13, there are already a tremendous amount of traffic due to the K-8 Coral Way school, which happens to only be 1 block away from the proposed daycare. These 189 or so cars will not allow for a smooth exit from the proposed preschool. Regardless of which way the parents decide to exit, this will cause more congestion in this corner of my home. As a directly affected homeowner and neighbor for the past 50 years, I plead that you deny this appeal today in order to maintain the safety, tranquility, character, and overall welfare of our family and our neighborhood. Thank you. And just for the records, I will go ahead and submit these pictures for the commissioners, and they will be on the record. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, but make sure I get them to this. I need to give her some. She wants to put it together. Okay.
Is there anyone else at the lectern?
Getting reports there are 3 more people at City Hall.
Okay.
Do I start talking? Okay. Yes, my name is Maritza Barrios Pereira. I live at 1271 Southwest 21st Terrace, Miami, Florida. I am the resident that is directly across the street from this project. Therefore, my interest is greater than the public at large. I have lived there for 30 years, and I feel that this project is too large for the area that is being placed in. They need 183 students with parents that are driving in through our property. We have had to change the direction. We requested the direction from 12 streets to be going up, to be closed, and now we're getting impacted on the other side as well. We feel that this project will be negative for us and our quality of life because of all the parking. And don't tell me that they're going to have a parking space 2 blocks away where parents can drop off their kids or bring them in a stroller under the sun, under the rain, under the cold, and bring them in there. There is no parking for that project, and that parking that they're building is going to be directly in front of my house, thereby diminishing my quality of life because of the noise, because of all the traffic, plus the traffic that comes up from 12th Street, driving at the wrong side of the road, which happens every single day during peak hours, and people will be coming in one way and in the other way, and it'll bottleneck there. I feel that this project that has already been denied by the planning and zoning, and most of the people that live in the area that are directly affected will be impacted as are negative against this project, and we will all be impacted negatively. Thank you very much. What do I do now?
Yeah. Hi, good morning. My name is Maritza Vasquez. I am a resident at 1263 Southwest 21 Terrace. I have been living in that house for 23 years. I received mail notice from the city of Miami regarding this development application. I do believe that the project is too big for the area. It is affecting us a lot. These negative impacts are not shared by the public at large. I agree with everything that my neighbors have said. And what I have to say is that personally, I think that it is affecting our quality of life. The traffic is tremendous. It's really bad. Cars come against traffic really in really high speed. They don't care. I have a teenager kid that sometimes goes out with his friends, and they cannot even play on the street because it is unbelievable the way cars come so fast. They park in the middle of the street. They come against the traffic. These two buildings these two houses that are across the street from Marita and Zulema, they just put new plants, and the water company comes to put water on the plants, and they come against the traffic. They do whatever they want. We have been having a lot of issues with code enforcement, and code enforcement that do as much as they can, but it is unbelievable, all the times that we had to call code enforcement because there is no parking, there is violations, there is a lot of garbage thrown across the street of my house from the two houses in the building. And, that's not the way I am accustomed to live. I live in that area for 23 years. I never had that problem. We had to go maybe like 15 years ago to pay as residential parking only. So this is something that is going to be affecting us a lot. I will appreciate if the commissioners take a look at this situation. And, planning and zoning denied the case back in July. They have to go to vote 4 times which Mr. Rodriguez said that day, he couldn't believe that when an item is heard at a commission meeting and they have to go for votes, one time is enough. We went 4 times for a denial. This is something that we want you guys to work for. Thank you very much.
Use yourself right here.
Espera. No, quítame esto para que me entiendan. No, esto no, ¿verdad? Okay. Yeah. My name is Luis Herrera, President of Vizcaya Romani Association. I come today here to tell you there's no reason at all to defer this item because the COVID-19 is going to be here for a long time. So there's no reason at all to cancel this meeting. So I bring it to you already, another person already talking about this thing here. And it's hard to us to give it to the commissioners. So the commission, they can see what's happening in the area. Okay. And this particular one over here, that's the one, Montessori, they have the school right now. And you see the parking lot all full of cars? That's a Montessori. Okay, and the new place they want to put it in, and I'm going to go through to everything, but I'm going to show you something right here. This is a cool sign. This is a cool sign close to the new school Montessori he want to put it in. You see the sign there? That's the school, elementary school in 19th Street. It's only a few blocks. So, and then you can see in page 7, right here, it's one-way street. Exactly where the house is, they want to put the school or the parking lot. This car is belong to these people here, and they come out in the wrong way, almost they got an accident. You see all the accidents. I want to know how I can give this to the commissioners one way or the other to can see everything. And he called me in my phone, and I explained everything they got in here. Thank you very much, and I'm glad to you follow today the hearing for Montessori. No way more longer. The pandemic is no reason to cancel it out. Thank you. Bye.
That was the last person for public comment at City Hall. Go to the callbacks. So phone operator 1, you're live.
Sir, go ahead. You're live now with the commission.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael March. I live at 3543 Plaza Street in the West Grove. The first item I would like to speak about is agenda item FR2 that regards homeowners' rights in response to being historically designated. I don't know why this item has been deferred so many times. So far, the only opposition that I've seen against it has come from the Dade Heritage Trust. It seems that they are against it because they want to expand their own sphere of influence and get as many properties designated as possible. If you look at the nearby city of Coral Gables, they are now designating ranch-style homes. So obviously, some of these historical designation advocates do not care about the particular style of homes they want to designate. They just want to prevent people from redeveloping in any property over 50 years old. And this represents a major violation of homeowners' property rights. If we truly want to avoid gentrification, we need to give new generations the right to redevelop their homes. And we need to stop these frivolous lawsuits from the lawyer who is preventing the demolition of this ranch-style homes, whether it's in Coral Gables or here in the city of Miami. I also would like to speak against item PZ5, which potentially gives developers benefits to build affordable housing next to T3 neighborhoods. This is bad for T3 neighborhoods. Thank you. Have a good day.
Phone operator 2, you're live.
Okay, caller, you're on with the commission. Go ahead.
Yes, hello, good morning. My name is Malena Legarre. I wanted to express my agreement with the model for the large group feeding the homeless and the regulation. I volunteer with Hermanos de la Calle. We've been feeding the homeless along the pandemic. We thought they needed us, they need food, but I understand the risks that are taken during that moment, mostly for the homeless people that are the most vulnerable, but at the same time, the necessity to bring them food was imperiously. So we continue to do so. We think it's great that we are having more services for the homeless people in this new model of feeding them in certain places. I think that's great, but I really think that we can go furthermore. Hermanos de la Calle is working with a model of transitional housing, which has been demonstrated all over the United States and through this organization and some others, that it is a great way for the homeless people to leave the streets, regain dignity, stand on their feet, find a job, sharing a house, paying a rent altogether, but there is no regulation that this type of transitional housing, and I wanted to advocate and ask the city of Miami to consider it, the need to regulate these independent people living together in order to be able to share a space, a room, a home, a community, considering the prices of the housing in Miami. A single person, homeless person, although he gets a check or whatever from government, he's not able to pay deposit first and last month. So this transitional housing would be really, or is really very, very helpful for these people. And there is some examples that Hermanos de la Calle has been developing. So this is what I just wanted to express. Thank the commissioner for this proposal about feeding, and ask also for the need of a regulation to go furthermore, to take them out of the streets to all that they can. These old people getting the check and not being able to be in a secure, comfort place. So that is what I wanted to express. Thank you very much.
Phone operator 3, you're live.
My name is Cale Tyler of 1251 Southwest 21st Terrace, speaking in opposition of the appeal by Village Montessori. The Miami 21 Code was created to protect the people of Miami so that future generations can reap the benefits of well-balanced neighborhoods and rich quality of life. An exception should only be made if it meets this burden, and a private daycare muscling into an already saturated area comes nowhere close to meeting it. Our community has called this neighborhood home for decades, has been forced to fend off the efforts of the greedy and corrupt time and time again. A horde of rich parents that want a nicer, bigger place to drop their toddlers is nowhere near justification enough for rezoning a residential area, especially when it negatively affects so many residents. 21st Terrace was and arguably remains a dangerous street by nature of linking 12th Ave and Coral Way, allowing motorists to bypass a major intersection. For this reason, it was converted to a one-way, which continues to see wrong-way travel and speeding. Residents have also been plagued by nearby business patrons parking their cars and crowding the street, despite the area recently designated a residential parking area by permit only. Speaking of nearby businesses, establishments within one block include a very popular bar, 3 other restaurants that sell alcohol, and a smoke shop specializing in cannabis tools. Construction of a large hotel is currently underway on the same block. According to the Department of Transportation's Fatality Analysis Reporting System, between 2003 and 2013, a traffic fatality occurred on the intersection of Coral Way and 12th Avenue, 5 blocks north of the intersection, and less than a block south of the proposed preschool. All 3 fatalities were pedestrians. My family and I have personal knowledge of at least 2 traffic accidents that occurred this year alone at Coral Way and 13th, directly in front of the proposed preschool. It should be glaringly obvious to anyone concerned with the safety of children that this is not an area conducive to a preschool. Since I am unable to directly rebut what I'm sure will be an argument laden with fallacies and inaccuracies, I ask that you scrutinize Village Montessori's amended plan. Some issues which were poorly addressed when their plan was initially denied were their traffic flow plan, especially at pickup and drop-off times, and the outdoor square footage as calculated by maximum number of students, which fell short of the required minimum. Please do the right
I'm
thing.
going to be needing you to help me put a box in the car.
Phone operator 4, you're live.
Community. The answer, hello? We're here to answer one fundamental question. Will a Montessori school be an asset to this community? The answer is a clear and resounding no. To accept this proposal would be not only a disservice to the people that call this area home, but to the children who would be taught here. The traffic pattern and congestion surrounding our street has already led to multiple accidents. On a daily basis, cars drive up the one-way or use the street to bypass a major intersection. What will it look like with a revolving door of parents dropping students off, particularly when there's no capable parking lot to speak of? Will cars be allowed to stop and stand? They can't do so without creating obscene levels of congestion, yet can't simply expect daycare-age children to hop out of the car. And the traffic and parking is but one issue. What will it look like for school to operate there with all of the noise, foot traffic, and garbage that running a large business entails? Because please make no mistake, that is what this proposal is about, putting a business in a residential zone. What will it look like to expose this neighborhood, these people who have lived here for tens of years, to a barrage of strangers on a daily basis? What will all of this mean not only for practical issues like our property values, but for our daily lived experience, our quality of life? Imagine for a minute that this was your home. Would you feel comfortable with this proposal? This is an issue impacting our community, and our community has spoken. You can't sail a cruise ship up the Miami River. Why would you put a large business like that in a residential zone? Please stand up for the people who live here and affirm the decision of the Planning, Zoning, and Appeals Board to reject this proposal. Thank you.
Phone operator 3, you're live.
You can speak with the commission.
Hello. Hello to everyone. My name is Narciso Munoz. I'm a resident of Miami. I work for Fundación Hermanos de la Calle, that we provide food and shelter and clothes and a lot of things to the homeless population. Basically, well, I'm calling for my support to the large group feeding ordinance that you are promoting, which I think it's super interesting to give the homeless altogether something, all the service that the city can provide. But what I would like to mention is if we can move forward, because what we really think is that more than food, what the homeless population need is house. And house, I'm referring not a shelter, but a house. We have been proving that it's a proven concept to have like house sharing or community sharing or rooming. So I would like to ask if it's possible to try to work in some type of ordinance where you can design or get some places within the city of Miami where we can accommodate in houses the homeless that are really to move out from the streets. We see there are a large population of Cubans, all Cubans that they receive a check, but they don't have enough money to get to their own place. And they are really okay. Then we have some veterans on the same conditions. Then we have, of course, you have the issue of addictions, but those we send it to rehabs. When they return from the rehabs, they need a place to stay, a place to call home. When you are thinking a shelter is not a home. This thing it's self-sustainable. It's not a cost for the city, and we just need some type of regulation to do this in the correct way. We are receiving money from companies, and we'd like to open like 20 more houses or 25 more houses, and we can take care of, I don't know, 200 people from the streets. But we really need your support. We are helping the city, and well, I know you have been supportive to us. I think it's time to move to the next level. And it's incredible, a city with 3 million people, that we can't solve 1,000 people. We really think that it's possible in a joint venture between the community, the government, all together to give them a solution. And this is a moment when you're going to have everybody in a parking lot. So it will be super opportunity. That's what I want to say. Again, thank you very much for your help. Bye.
Phone operator 2, you're live.
Okay, caller, go ahead. You're live with the commission.
Me?
Yep.
Hi, my name is Anna Gonzalez. I live at 3000 Coral Way in City of Miami, District 4. I'm calling in support of the Woodbine project. Carrollton has been a member of the community for over 60 years. They've been a good neighbor. They have students that are productive and supporting the communities throughout the Grove and around Miami. They've been great stewards to the 2 designated preservation sites they currently own, and they have the pockets to continue to do so in perpetuity. The families that have their students in these Sacred Heart schools or properties are also contributing to the Grove districts, the commercial districts, and you can tell just by any after school going through and seeing all the plaid skirts of all the students throughout the Grove at the different shops and the different cafes and whatnot. Another issue is there's been an assumption that 75% of the boys who would attend this new school wouldn't be from the Grove, and I think that that's, there's no real way of knowing that, first of all. Second of all, that sort of implies that only residents of the Grove should have rights to the Grove as opposed to regular people in and around the city and the county. Additionally, about a year ago, this same issue was coming up with regards to Burrito Miami Private being relocated to a commercial zone. I believe it was a T4 or a T5. They were granted special access, and the exceptions were granted to them in order to be able to access residential roads, despite the neighborhood being really upset because we have significantly more traffic where we are on Coral Way than Tiger Tail will ever see in its lifetime. And we were told basically that traffic is part of the price that you pay for living in a city. It's part of growth. It's part of what we have to deal with. And I would venture to guess that the majority of traffic in and around Coconut Grove at any time of day is more a direct result of its location geographically in the city just south of downtown and Brickell than it is because of any school. The school zones are there. They are used. They do get bad. But at no point does it ever take you more than 20 minutes to get from the furthest north point of Coconut Grove and to the furthest south. And that is using Tiger Tail or Bayshore as opposed to US 1. So I don't think that traffic is enough of an issue to keep it. I think that there is more to gain by having an owner like Carrollton preserve the property for the good of everybody in the community long term. In addition to the fact that this would give us an all boys Catholic school from primary years. These same students would probably also be the children of the same families that are already at Carrollton or already at Ransom, already at LaSalle. To assume that we're adding more people, I think is false. And so I think that Carrollton has done a lot for the community, between after school programs at the Barnyard, to community service over at Mercy Hospital, to just regular neighborhood cleanups that they do, participation in the Coconut Grove Arts Festival. I think they have done a lot. And I think that if they had really done negative impacts, we would not be in this situation. But clearly the parents and the community want it, which is why this conversation is even happening. So I thank you for your time, and I really hope that you will reconsider granting them the opportunity to build what is much needed in Miami. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we move on to further phone callers, what I'd like to do is go back to the lecture, because I know we have some individuals that are waiting to speak for 2 minutes, and they're here at City Hall, so I want to make sure that they have an opportunity to speak. But as well, I want to remind our city clerk and our host that I would like for the city clerk to announce when 2 minutes have expired, so that our host to move on to the next public speaker, because I can't control the person who's speaking or this system to move on to the next person. So the host can. So I want to make sure that the clerk announces it so that the host can then move on. And then now I recognize Mrs. Akela at the lectern.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm here on PZ4, and I have not been sworn in by the clerk yet. I wonder if I could address the item when it comes up on the PZ agenda, or if you prefer that I make my comments now, sir.
Well, this is the public comment section, so you do not have to be sworn in for the public comment section.
Chairman, remember that we changed the ordinance for just members of the public. So unless he is a witness, he does not have to be sworn in. He could speak now.
That's my point. It's just public comment. So, right, unless he's going to be, unless you're going to be a witness in it, or yeah, it's basically for witnesses that are giving us the facts. So,
yeah, I will not be a witness in any quasi-judicial proceeding, but this is, you know, an ordinance on second reading. So certainly want to give you my comments before such time as it's heard.
Please do so.
Okay. PZ4 is an item dealing with self-storage facilities. We're very concerned about the ordinance. We represent Public Storage, one of the largest publicly traded REITs in the country, also owns a number of self-storage facilities. As a matter of form, I would also respectfully suggest to you all that anywhere where you use the term public storage should be changed to self-storage. Public storage is a specific brand and not a term of art for your code. With that said, we are very concerned about the enforcement provisions of this particular ordinance. This ordinance will impose penalties on my client or similarly situated storage providers, storage operators, for the infractions of other people that are committed off their property. That is totally improper and totally wrong. This is not something that is done in the United States of America. This is something that's done in Cuba, prosecuting people for the actions of others. Separately from that, I would also suggest to you that in a time of COVID, requiring these facilities to have communal bulk waste facilities on site is a very poor idea. People are going to be sweating all over their boxes, sweating all over their mattresses, throwing them in the trash can, and then others are going to touch the trash can. These places are going to become COVID hotspots. Finally, I would suggest to you that this is going to add cost for the consumers. This is a fairness issue as well, because you're addressing operational issues related to storage facilities and illegal dumping in the zoning code, and it's not the appropriate place for it. We would respectfully ask you all to just go ahead and kill this ordinance. My client, others in the industry, are willing to work with the sponsor of the ordinance. We've met with him. We've met with each of you individually. We're willing to work with the city.
Mr. Zakela, your 2 minutes have expired.
Thank you.
If there isn't anyone else in the lectern, then we can move back on to the phone comments.
Phone operator 4, you're live.
The commission? Hello, caller? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. My name is Hortensia Linero, and I'm a resident of Miami, and I'm a member of Hermanos de la Calle. And I think it's a great resolution of giving services to the homeless. But I think I think you should go a little step further and to give them transitional housing like we do at Hermanos de la Calle, because that way we help them to go into society again, and they can have a job like they usually do, like 90% of the people we help, and put in transitional houses, or 95%. They go into society and do, their own life as natural person as anybody else. And well, I think the city should help the homeless by doing that, not giving them the fish, but helping them to fish, I think. I don't know. Hello?
Phone operator 1, you're live.
Señora, estás en la comisión, ya puedes hablar.
Ok, hola, buenos días. Soy María Cristina Quintero, vivo en el 445 Grand Bay Drive de apartamento 805 Key Biscayne, Florida, 33149, el zip code. Participo hace varios años con la Fundación Hermanos de la Calle y me parece muy importante y muy buena la resolución que hoy están discutiendo para darle servicios a los hombres de Miami.
Has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 305799958.
Ciudad reglamente en áreas dentro de Miami la posibilidad de que las non-profits como las nuestras operen casas de transición. Así, además de darles de comer, los ayudamos a salir, que es nuestro objetivo y también debería de ser el de la ciudad. Muchísimas gracias.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good morning. I'm the Spanish interpreter. My name is Maria Cristina Quintero. I live in 445 Grand Bay Drive, apartment 805, Key Biscayne, Florida, 33149. Hello, good morning. I am calling to help and support the foundation Brothers of the Street, Hermanos de la Calle. It's a very important issue, and it's going to be a resolution for the homeless people of Miami. The city should follow rules and help these nonprofit organizations that are helping homeless people to not only give them food, but also transition into help them get out on the streets. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have like 2 or 3 people that need to be called back, but we're struggling to get them on the line. If you could just bear with us a few seconds.
Chairman Hardiman.
Say that again, Victoria.
Chairman, I just wanted to remind you that there are interveners also waiting to, speak, and obviously you would decide when they would speak, but I just wanted to advise you of that.
No, for the interveners, we want to ensure that they have an opportunity to address their intervener status at the time of the item. If someone wants to speak for public comment, they can speak during public comment. But as a request for intervener status, I take that as a motion, basically, that will be addressed at the time of the item being called.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, phone operator 4. I'm sorry.
Chairman, this is Lowell Cooven. I also have other people here who would like to speak during the public comment section of this particular issue, not just people that are interveners. So they'd like to speak during the public comment section, please.
Then they should speak during public comment.
Thank you, Chairman.
Phone operator 4, you're live.
They're coming back online, sir.
Phone operator 4, do you have your caller on the phone?
The call was dropped, and I'm calling them back with no response.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're done with the phone calls.
Do we have any pre-recorded public comments?
Yes, we do. Do we want Coogan Law to do their public comment first? We have 55 minutes of recorded public comments.
How many minutes?
55.
55. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to recognize the individual for public comment at Coolin Law at this time.
Hello, my name is Rachel Cardello. I live at 2175 Tiger Tail Avenue, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Villa Woodbine issue. My property is within the 500 feet of the proposed Villa Woodbine project. I'm here to talk about two parts of the project. One is the certificate of appropriateness and the other certificate of approval. In 1988, when the city commissioners designated this as an historic site, historically and environmentally needing protection, because this site is an asset to the community, the city, and the greater good, not because it's a benefit to an individual owner. So in terms of the appropriateness, the villa itself is being overwhelmed by the proposed project. The school being proposed is about 8 times the scale of the villa. And if I can show you this here. And then in regards to its compatibility with the neighborhood, a typical home in that area is about 2,000 to 3,000 square feet. The proposed school alone, the school building itself, is 30,000 square feet. We're talking about 10 times the compatibility of the other neighborhood buildings. In terms of Tiger Tail and Bayshore, Bayshore has been designated a scenic transportation corridor, and we are being proposed by this school to have a pool raised up about 15 feet from Bayshore and 20 foot back from Bayshore. On a Tiger Tail Avenue, we're at about 19 feet from Tiger Tail Avenue with a building that's nearly 35 feet tall, certainly overwhelming any of the properties on Tiger Tail Avenue. The other issue that I have is that Tiger Tail Avenue should be treated as a primary frontage as it is for every other property on Tiger Tail, which is a 30-foot setback. With an 18 and change foot setback from Tiger Tail is absolutely inappropriate in scale to the context of the neighborhood. In terms of the environmental issues, in 2019, the mayor and this commission declared a climate change emergency and talked about things like redesigning parks for urban reservoirs. We have an urban reservoir with the Villa Woodbine property as it is. The Climate Ready website that you have all states that the goal is to increase trees by 30% and says when it comes to open space, a connected system is a resilient system. So here we are, a site designated for environmental and historic preservation. And in a city with an environmental crisis, we're losing over half of our tree canopy. 1,000 tree widths are being removed and only 268 inches being replaced. That's 25% of the trees that are there. 65% of that site will become impervious to water infiltration. We're looking at potentially destabilized soil, increased erosion and runoff, reduced shade and cooling, exposure to forceful winds, increased pollutants, decreased property values, and a less beautiful city. By the way, those last statements I just made are listed in the Preservation District City as what needs to be protected by the city on behalf of the community. There's nothing about this proposed project that aligns with the goals of the city, the goals of the community, and I ask that you uphold the HEP Board's decision to deny the project. Thank you.
We have one more caller that we were able to get on the phone. So phone operator 2, you're live.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, hello?
Yes, go ahead. You're on with the commission.
Okay, thank you. Yes, hi, good morning. My name is Helga Vienes. I'm a resident of City Kane, and I'm a volunteer with Hermanos de la Calle, and I've seen the work that this foundation does, and I do believe that if we can take it a step further, we'll do a it'll be a great benefit for all the homeless community in Miami. I think that it's great that we are providing them with transitional housing, and I think that this is something that should be considered as a step for them to get them out of the street and bring back dignity to all of these people that end up for one or another reason in the street. They also need a little bit of kindness, a hand that can give them, some help and allow them to get out of that hole that ended up and give them a chance to have a better future. So I do support this measure that is being considered, and I fully support the help that this will bring to all the homeless in Miami. I do live in Key Biscayne. I don't even you need my whole address. It's 199 Ocean Lane, Key Biscayne, Florida, 33149. Thank you for your attention.
Phone operator 4, you're live.
Hello, you're live with the commission, sir.
Yes.
Please, you're live with the commission.
Okay. Okay. Hey, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Luis Eduardo Gutierrez. I am a U.S. citizen and resident in the city of Miami. Specifically, I live in Key Biscayne, and I've been involved since 2016 in a non-profit foundation that is Hermanos de la Calle. We have been on the street feeding and helping people to get out of the street. The whole situation that we are watching since 4 years ago is really a situation that we cannot avoid to realize that we need to help people on the street, and we need to create areas where we can help this guy, not only feeding them. They are human beings. Every soul counts for us. We need to reinsert them to the society. So we have to do more than just feeding and help this guy. We have also to take care of them and create a transitional housing for them in order to reinsert them to the society and to be a better person. That way, the way we see it, that way we are starting to contribute with all the community. If we start to reinsert this guy to the society, be a person that can walk, start to work again, start to be with their families, it's a great thing that we can do in the city. So for that reason, I'm really happy that you are planning to create these zones that way we can help them and start to create a better community in Miami. Well, thank you very much, and I hope you can do everything in your hands. Thank you.
Okay, that's the end of the telephone recorded comments. I don't know if Cuban Law has more public comments, Chair.
Okay, yes, I'm here with the Cuban group. We have approximately 6 people to provide public comment.
Chair?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, yes, Scott Silver, 2980 McFarlane Road in Coconut Grove. I'm here to speak specifically about the Historic Environmental Preservation Board, the appeal by the Carrollton group. We ask that you continue that you deny that, even though it's a de novo review. We intend to come forward and provide evidence and testimony this afternoon at the hearing. But I think what you need to look at here is detailed by the Dade Heritage Trust letter that was provided with all of the objections that were raised both on the historic and environmental preservation. As to the historic component, what is being done is it's not just a question of preserving the singular building. The development is overwhelming the building to the point where it's almost invisible. The most significant portion as well is the Silver Bluff. It's been designated by city ordinance as a protected component, and what they've done is literally covered it. It's as if you took the Freedom Tower, the Marine Stadium, and you wrapped it in a wooden deck and put a hole in it. That's literally what they did. They said that they're preserving the Silver Bluff by covering it. And I think on that component alone, their pool deck and those components, I think, should be rejected, and the decision of the HEP board should be upheld. Furthermore, something that came up, the Southeast Regional Review for Sea Level Rise issued new projections in December 2019, and the Army Corps of Engineers announced their plan about 2 weeks ago regarding a $4.2 billion project for hardening seawalls, flood walls. And I think those need to be considered significantly here. The main exit for this property will be on Bayshore Drive. The projection for sea level rise in the next 30 to 40 years is anywhere from 21 to 34 inches in that area. And if you go on the interactive map, which I urge that you do, you will see that that area is ground zero for it in front of Kennedy Park and along there. So if Bayshore Drive is no longer an exit, you've got to consider that significantly in this. And I don't think anybody's even come close to addressing that. So that's something that needs to be reviewed. The Army Corps of Engineers plan for $4.2 billion, which will take 20 years to implement, is not,
Your 2
doesn't.
minutes have expired.
Sir, you're muted.
Good morning. My name is John Ewing. My wife Carol and I have lived at 2121 Tiger Tail Avenue since 1993. I live directly across from Morris Lane, which is on the northeasterly border of the Woodbine property. Our home was built in 1922 and has been designated a Florida Historic Home. We listened to all of the pro-Woodbine school speakers this morning, and they spoke about the school and about the education. We are not against the education. We are not against a school. We are against the location of the school. The school itself is way out of scale with our neighborhood. There's a 35-foot building right against Tiger Tail Avenue, which would impair our viewpoints, our views. There's a loss of tree canopy, which is immense and will damage the entire Coconut Grove and our entire environment. There's loss of pervious land. The land area will increase our local temperatures, winds, and our ability to drain floodwaters from the area. The taxes, there are currently 4 properties on this 4-acre land that are paying property taxes. They will all be removed from the tax rolls, and that's a huge loss to the city. The traffic on Tiger Tail and Bayshore are already gridlocked 2 to 4 hours every day, every school day, due to the Ransom Middle School. We have watched the traffic grow on Tiger Tail Avenue since 1993, and this gridlock happens right in front of my home, where there are times I cannot even get to my house. The disgruntled motorists are constantly U-turning on my property, ruining the grass in my front yard. This school will only exacerbate that problem.
Sir, your 2 minutes have expired. My apologies, but your 2 minutes have expired.
Good morning. My name is Derek Farrell. I live at 3530 Rockaman Road, which is about 400 feet from the proposed school. We are opposed to the building of the school. The impact of the location as a school will impact traffic many times over. The other concern is when they come in later on for an increase of student counts to increase the student count, and the traffic will be multiplied even beyond that, and it'll just make it untenable to live there. Parking will be another problem. We have a problem on Rockaman Road with the parking from the park, and this will be many times over the problem with the school as well. Coconut Grove is a very unique location in the city of Miami and in Dade County, and it has a tree canopy that is very unique. Replacing one tree, they're talking about replacing many trees, but replacing one tree will take 1,000 men and women to carry out, and they'll replace it with a tree that a child can bring in and be planted. So a lot of the trees have been there for many, many, many years. We in the Grove are a silent majority, and we want our voices to be heard. We feel that this is an issue that we feel is important to us. Thank you very much.
My turn? Can I speak?
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Hi, my name is Isaac Kotze. I reside at 2131 South Bay Shore Drive. I share 475 feet with this property from South Bay Shore, almost all the way to Tiger Tail Avenue. Clearly, I will probably be one of the most affected residents in all Miami pertaining to this project. I have in the last 3 months, in light of this coronavirus and the pandemic, and sitting at home and looking at all the tree canopies and appreciating, in the light of our situation that we went through, the benefit of having a tree canopy protecting my property, having clean oxygen has been extremely important. Again, I'm reiterating what many people have said, that this property or this project is just in the wrong location, not objecting schools, not objecting education. I also like to say that my wife, my oldest daughter are alumni of Carrollton. I currently have a daughter that is enrolled at Carrollton. My nieces and my entire family has gone to Carrollton, so I'm very proud of the school. I'm a proud Carrollton father. But again, this is just a wrong location for this particular project. Again, thank you. My name is Isaac Kotze. Thank you.
Good afternoon, or good morning, I should say, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Rose Pujol. I have lived at 2455 South Bay Shore Drive. I've had that property since 1984. I'd like to point out the big elephant in this room, and that is the fact that we are in a situation due to COVID where this economy is in a free fall. And we're not taking into account the consequences that not just the impact on climate change this property will have, but the impact this property will have in terms of revenue to this city. This is another property that comes off the books. We have, just in the Grove, we have over 13 private schools, and they total over close to 250 million in assessed value. That is, you're talking about public services that now the city and the residents cover that burden. So we're looking at a situation which it may be a wonderful school, it may be not an issue of education but location, but I think that there are repercussions here that must be addressed, and not just what's in front of our eyes for the next year. I'd like to also mention the other item that I would like to mention is that every commissioner in their district is the first in line when there's disaster relief and needs those funds. Okay, and to sit there and absolutely take a property that has historic and environmental protection and say, no, we're going to put in 100,000 square feet of footprint of new construction. It's actually 104,000 plus. We're going to rip out 26 of the 66 species trees. They're leaving 26, which, by the way, is another point that I'd like to make, that their documents and their application does not coincide with the testimony that they are giving at any of the hearings. Thank you very much. Rose Pujol.
Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon or good morning. My name is Lowell Cooven. My office address is 17 East Flagler Street. My home address, 1861 Northwest South River Drive. I've been a resident of the city of Miami for my entire life. This particular project is not proper in this particular location. Nobody here is against education. I'm not against education. However, when they talk about that it has to be put in this location, they haven't stated a single reason why it has to be in this location. There are many properties throughout the city of Miami that are vacant. There are neighborhoods that would basically be promoted or be enriched by having such a school in their neighborhood. But there isn't any reason why this particular school needs to be put on this particular piece of property. The market for young boys going to a middle school is already being serviced by the school right next door, which is Ransom. So I'd just like to say that I would think that the commissioners would ask that question and to say why this particular location, why not some other location in the city of Miami, and to help enrich other particular neighborhoods in the city of Miami with this school from Carrollton. Thank you very much. And I don't believe we have anybody else from this location, so thank you very much, and we'll turn it back over to you, Sir Clerk.
Okay. Do we have any? We can move into our pre-recorded now.
Yes. Please start playing the pre-recorded public comment.
Right, so here's the game plan. We have a 2 o'clock. We're going on at 2 o'clock or not?
Brian Hessel, 2675 South Bay Shore Drive, Woodbine, the school, Carlton, Woodbine. I'm against it. Too much traffic. Is this going to add more traffic? The density over there is enough. We're coming home from work. We're going to work. Bayshore Drive is just bumper to bumper all the way in, and this will just add to it. The other factor is the beautiful trees, the scenic look from the street will be changed tremendously, and it's just something that the area does not need. Carrollton has already a school. I understand they want to add, but just not the right place. Thank you.
My name is Andrew Fisher. I live at 2675 South Bayshore Drive, apartment 603S. I am calling about the Carrollton Woodbine school proposal, and I am against the development of this project. I believe that the traffic considerations will overwhelm the neighborhood further than they are already burdened. Thank you very much.
Hello, we are 2 voters who stand strongly against putting a school at Villa Woodbine. Our name is Mr. and Mrs. Jabelli, 1 Grove Isle Drive, Coconut Grove, Florida, 33133. Please do not add any congestion to Bayshore Drive. Just try to imagine how that traffic would back up in the mornings and in the afternoons. It would be horrendous. Do not build that school, or you will lose our votes for any and all future elections.
Greetings, Miami City Commissioners and the Miami community. This is Michelle Garretts-Vegas of 6727 Old Banyan Way, Naples, Florida. I'm calling today and leaving a message in strong support of Villa Woodbine. As a graduate of Carrollton, I am the person I am today because of the rigorous education, guidance, and their focus on fostering the best in the whole person. I do visit Coconut Grove often as I have friends and relatives that live there. I strongly encourage the commissioners to vote yes on Villa Woodbine, as the community will only be enhanced with boys growing and learning in the Sacred Heart traditions. The strong foundation I received is priceless. Due to the pandemic and people now working more at home, the traffic concerns have fortunately been reduced by a change in workplace settings. For this reason, I humbly encourage you to vote yes on Villa Woodbine, as it is a win-win for the boys, our future leaders, and Miami, one of the best places in the world. Thanks for your time.
My name is Dan Brown. I live at 2 Grove Isle Drive, apartment 1406 in Miami, 33133. My comment has to do with the Carrollton School, which is on the agenda. As I said, I'm a resident of Grove Isle. We have approximately 1,000 residents on Grove Isle. Our entrance and exit to and from Coconut Grove from Grove Isle is either using Tiger Tail or South Bay Shore, both of which, at least prior to COVID-19, during the morning and afternoon, has been bumper to bumper, even without the ransom school traffic. And the 500 students with more to come that would attend Carrollton School, and you have a use of a greater number of cars on both South Bay Shore at Tiger Tail, and there will be a traffic disaster, which will affect Grove Isle residents more than any other complex in Coconut Grove because of our number. Please do not permit the school to be built. Thank you very much. Bye.
Hi, my name is Ronald Canizares. I live at 2 Grove Isle Drive, apartment 1805, Coconut Grove, Florida, 33133. And I'm calling about what I believe is PZ number 8 and PZ number 9 with regard to the construction of the Carrollton School. And I am vehemently against it. We are going to have terrible traffic problems on South Bay Shore Drive. It's already very difficult as it is. And so I just want you to know I am absolutely dead against it. And I hope that you will reflect the views of myself and of my neighbors. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Tom Jones. Address is 2120 South Bay Shore Drive. I'd like to comment on the proposed school to be there at the old Woodbine Estate. I oppose this. Just the traffic. The traffic is horrible during morning and afternoon hours at the Ransom Everglades School there on the corner of South Bay Shore and Emathel Street. Cars lined up on both sides of the road. A lot of times you can't get down the road. You have to turn around and go back. Other times at the end of the road when you get to Tiger Tail and I want to turn left, I've got to go so far out into the lane to be able to see around the cars parked on the shoulder of the road that I've almost got in an accident more than one occasion. So this is just ludicrous to put a school on South Bay Shore with everybody lined up on South Bay Shore, parked in the park there at Kennedy Park, taking all the parking spots. No, it's not going to work. I thought this was defeated a couple times. I don't understand why they can keep appealing. I mean, what are they going to do? Just appeal it forever until they wear us down? I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, please, my vote is absolutely no on putting a school there and all the traffic headaches. And no matter what they say, there's no way they're going to avoid that. And I invite them to go try driving down the street when the Everglades Ransom School there on Bayshore and Emathel Street is let out. And they can see exactly what it is there and on Tiger Tail with everybody parked on the shoulder of the road impairing traffic. Thank you.
More of the open surface will be taken away. Isn't this enough by itself? Really? This is normal flooding at Morris Lane. This is a recent picture of just some rainfall. Not even a hurricane, nothing special. This is new for me too. It's getting worse every year. The water has nowhere to go. And I cannot get to my house or leave without wading through 5 inches of water. Can you please vote against another school? Just for the sake of us in this cul-de-sac, just for the sake of our neighborly people that need ambulances. And please, no more flooding in Morris Lane or anywhere else. You know what I'm talking about. Thank you. And I hope you vote in the right way.
Yes, hi, this is Dr. Richard Steinbuch at Grove Isle. I would like to implore the commission to not give the okay to the Carrollton School to build a huge school at Villa Woodbine area. It will tie up traffic. It will tie up any emergency vehicles. It will tie up all of the in and out from Coconut Grove. I think it would be a very bad decision. Hopefully you will not allow it to happen. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Marisol Patton. I own the property at 2120 South Bay Shore Drive. I'm the only house across the street from the proposed Carrollton Villa Woodbine project, which is what I'm calling about. I am deeply, deeply opposed to it. I already have the park to my left and Ransom to my right, and there's traffic and cars everywhere, and I have a very nice waterfront home. It's worth millions of dollars, and it's completely unfair to put a school in front of my house when I already have another school and a park. And I know that pretty much every neighbor down the canal on Rockerman where I live is opposed to it, and they're not even, you know, right in front of this property like I am. So yes, I'm voting no, definitely no, absolutely not. I do not want Carrollton Woodbine School put across the street from me. Thank you.
This is Joyce Nelson, resident of Coconut Grove since 1974. I live at 2535 Inagua Avenue. I'm calling in reference to PZ1 and PZ2. Carlton's proposed school for 336 boys and 50 staff members does not reflect or blend into the existing neighborhood. It is 8 times the size of the historic Villa Woodbine and overwhelms our single-family residential neighborhood. It requires moving over 60% of the trees at Villa Woodbine, destroying a unique and lush tree canopy. It will create significant traffic burdens. It will have a negative impact on our quality of life. Approval of this project would clearly grant special privileges to an individual owner at the expense of the protection of public welfare. I urge the Commission to make the right choice and vote no for all the residents of the City of Miami. Thank you.
Hello, I am Sheila Boyce. I live at 2699 Tigertail Avenue, apartment 54 in Coconut Grove. I am calling regarding agenda items PZ1 6981 and PZ1 6982. I oppose the approval of Carrollton's Woodbine School at Villa Woodbine. I have lived in the neighborhood around that property for over 20 years and have watched as traffic has increased to become completely jammed during the extended rush hours in the morning and afternoon/evening. This is worsened in part by the Ransom Everglades School traffic on Tigertail and Bayshore. The new school will add hundreds of cars every morning and afternoon, creating an additional bottleneck that will slow traffic even further and will encourage cars to cut through the surrounding residential neighborhoods. In addition, it is an inappropriate density for the area and will destroy precious green space, covering 65% of the site. This property is not the right place to build a school. Please vote no. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Adrienne Peters, 3803 Irvington Avenue, Miami, Florida. I live in the South Grove, and I am calling to say that I am against the expansion of Carrollton at Villa Woodbine. We have so much traffic now because of all the private schools, and I am against any type of growth in this area. If they want to go out somewhere else and build onto their school and have 2 campuses where there's more space, then they should do that. But please do not build any more schools in Coconut Grove that create traffic jams, unless they're for the Coconut Grove children, if they're public, not private. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ana Spurua. I live in 2132 Tigertail Avenue, Miami 33133. I am calling regarding the new proposed Villa Woodbine School project. I believe this project to be inappropriate for our community and the space it is in. In terms of preservation, the neighbors of North Coconut Grove like the natural feel of our community and have expressed their rejection to this project. This is a private school that serves a specific niche, and we do not feel we need any more private schools in our community at this time. There's, the only justification I can think of is as a business, the financial justification for the owners of the school. But in terms of our community, I do not think it serves any benefit. And on the contrary, I do see many problems associated to it. This in terms of preserving the silence, the animals that live there, the birds, and the peace basically that we have and that we cherish in our community. This would only, on top of all this would also deprive the city from taxes collection of what other things that could be there. Being a school, that whole lot wouldn't be taxed. I think it's very important to know that this lot is sandwiched between single home, residential space, and all the neighbors have rejected this. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Rosie Roselle. I am the editor of the newspaper Calle Ocho News. I am recording this message so that the city can consider doing for Calle Ocho what it did for Miami Beach. We would like for the city to work closely with FDOT to make it possible for restaurants to be able to serve people in the parking lane on the north and south side of Calle Ocho, wherever there's a restaurant available. I spoke to several business owners in Miami Beach, and it seems to be working out very well for them. The businesses on Calle Ocho are suffering enormously. They thrive on tourism, and if we don't do something to help them quickly, we're not going to have a Calle Ocho to brag about pretty soon. Please take this into consideration and make it possible for the businesses on Calle Ocho to be able to do what the businesses in Miami Beach are doing as well. Thank you for your kind consideration. Have a great day.
Hello, my name is Eva Junco. We live at 3531 Vista Court. I'm speaking in reference to Carrollton's Woodbine School at Villa Woodbine. Good evening, my name is Eva Junco. Our family has lived on Vista Court for the past 10 years. First off, I want to state that we are opposed to the location Carrollton has chosen for their all-boys school at the beautiful and historical Villa Woodbine. As a homeschooling family, we are defenders of school choice. The question is not whether or not Carrollton should have an all-boys school, but rather the location they have chosen. Living on Vista Court, South Bayshore is our main street to get in and out of the Grove. We already deal with the heavy traffic in the morning and afternoon with Ransom Middle School and LaSalle. Carrollton would add to the already heavy congestion on Bayshore and Tiger Tail. My husband, who works in the medical field as an orthopedic trauma rep, needs South Bayshore to access I-95 to Jackson, Maine, UM Hospital, or head down to Jackson South Hospital. He already experiences heavy traffic because of LaSalle High and Ransom Middle School, not to mention the surrounding schools on Main Highway. You may think being homeschoolers, our family is not affected, but you would be wrong. As one of our high school-age children attends MDC's Padron campus as a full-time dual enrollment student, the traffic to access 22nd, 27th, or 17th Avenue would be compromised and make our commute worse than what it currently is. The heavy traffic already affects our afternoon extracurricular activities. I would also like to mention that the property is directly in front of Kennedy Park and its parking lot. Carrollton School would only be adding to the vehicle and pedestrian challenges we already encounter. We beg you, commissioners, to please vote against the prematurely named Woodbine School of the Sacred Heart. Grove residents do not want it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alan Knoll. I live at 2132 Tiger Tail Avenue. I'm calling in reference to Carrollton's Woodbine School at Villa Woodbine, items PC1 6981 and PC2 6982. The proposed school does not even meet the most basic of common sense. That is evident. Its location, the scale, the impact on traffic is dangerous and will cause irreparable harm. Mercy Hospital, as we all know, is only a couple blocks away and already suffers because of the horrible traffic conditions. The reality is that from the beginning, as we've all seen, this meets just the interest of a private business, pushing their particular interests, and not much in terms of public community service. This has been evident up till now. You only need to see the school's approach, hiring almost exclusively paid professionals to make their case and further their goals. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Amber Kraft, and I am providing my comment to offer suggestions for the use of budgetary funds to implement effective training and accountability practices within our local law enforcement agencies. Officers are not provided with the proper training and resources to do their jobs effectively. It only takes an average of 18 weeks to complete a law enforcement training program in the U.S., whereas in other countries it takes 3 years, some requiring a degree that is equivalent to a bachelor's. Our officers need to be educated, not simply trained for a few months like you train an animal. Another issue that needs to be addressed is the tactics used for engagement and apprehension. Our officers are not properly trained in this area. When apprehending a suspect, many officers panic, overreact, and use unnecessary, excessive force. Law enforcement programs should include Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It has been proven that the skills and strategies used in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu will prepare an officer for the safe and effective apprehension of suspects. Police departments in Marietta, Georgia have just recently made Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training mandatory for all its officers. Accountability is another concern. As a Miami-Dade County public school teacher, I know a lot about accountability. MDCPS and its teachers have to constantly prove their effectiveness to the communities they serve. Something similar should be used in law enforcement. Each officer should have to prove their effectiveness in order to keep their job, just like teachers do. Police departments should also have to prove their effectiveness to the community and should be graded in the same way that public schools are. Department and officer ratings should come directly from the communities they serve. Community members should be provided with quarterly opportunities to take surveys and rate the local police departments and its officers. Even people who are arrested should be able to fill out a survey to report on the way their arrest was handled. And as they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And if particular officers' names keep coming up with similar negative responses, then there's likely a problem, and it should be addressed early on. There will be no way to brush negative comments and reviews under the rug if a community review panel is created to oversee anything regarding accountability. These people should be randomly selected members from each community, something similar to a...
Hello, I'm Stephen Snavely, Professor of Law at the University of Miami, 1311 Miller Drive, Coral Gables, Florida. I want to highlight the strong opposition of the ACLU, Southern Legal Council, the National Law Center on Homelessness and Poverty, and at least 7 other organizations to the proposed bill regulating food sharing. As their letter points out, the proposed bill, though not framed in these terms, could well operate as a ban on food sharing throughout all of Miami. Further, this would hit very hard on a group of people who are disproportionately Black, disabled, and elderly. The bill would also violate the federal and state constitutional and statutory rights of the charitable groups providing food to people who are homeless. I want to make 2 other points. The first is that the city has failed in its duty to assure an adequate supply of affordable housing for all of its citizens. In addition, throughout all of Miami-Dade County, there are at least 1,000 more people who are homeless than there are shelter beds. People living on the streets literally have no other place to go. They are not there by choice. Second, the public health concerns that have been cited as justifying this bill could easily be handled in a different manner. The city could, wherever there are large encampments of people living on the streets, provide an adequate number of trash cans, adequate porta potties, and hand washing stations. It has not done so. Providing adequate sanitation and other health services to those with no choice but to live on the streets would be a compassionate approach consonant with the dignity of all the citizens of Miami, including those who are homeless, and would address the public health concerns in a constructive manner. I hope the City Commission will take that route and reject the proposed bill. Thank you.
Debbie Dolson, 4205 Lenox Drive, Coconut Grove, Florida.
I'd like to comment on agenda items PZ8 and PZ9. In Coconut Grove, we have a zoning code that provides for the preservation of its historic structures, natural features such as the tree canopy and green space, and its unique geologic features. It also states that property shall not be configured in any way that destroys green space, landscape easement, or road configuration that contributes to the character of the subdivision within the area. Villa Woodbine is an example that combines all of these elements. This appeal seeks to violate not just one element, but all that I have just mentioned. Enforcement of our city codes is a topic often discussed at commission meetings. Here is an opportunity for our commissioners to stand up for the city's goal to protect our community from the invasion of a project that will change the future of this area forever. I urge you to deny this appeal. I would also like to comment on FR2. One of the provisions of FR2 is to require a supermajority vote for historic designation. This will set a more challenging standard in order to achieve historic designation and will potentially cause us to lose even more of Miami's important history in every single district. I urge you to delete this provision from the ordinance. Thank you.
My name is Nirmal Tripathi, 1770 Espanola Drive, Miami, Florida 33133. I'm calling to leave some comments about the Carrollton Woodbine School that's supposedly coming up at Villa Woodbine. I do want to register that I'm completely against this. The reason being we already have one large private school not too far from where I live, and I can tell you in the morning and the afternoon it's an absolute nightmare trying to go on Tiger Tail or any of the surrounding streets. To pop in a second large school in such close proximity, to me, is just a disaster. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the road system to support it. Frankly, I don't see the need. Coconut Grove, of course, is a green area, and we'd like to keep it that way. Putting the school down in the middle of a residential area is going to kill the green space. And I think it's just an ill-conceived move. And my wife and I are 15-year residents of the Grove and are completely against this. I hope you'll do the right thing and vote against this development. Bye-bye.
My name is Steve Phillips, 4020 Woodridge Road. I'm calling in to speak about PZ 8 and 9. The traffic impact has been widely discussed, and it is unacceptable. Furthermore, this school would be detrimental to property values in that particular neighborhood. Further adverse impact on the residential neighborhood character already in existence. Be aware of the expansion creep the existing Carrollton facility on Main Highway has gone through over the years. Don't get me wrong. I'm the father of kids that attended Epiphany, Lourdes, and Belen. Bottom line, the South Bayshore location is simply not suitable for this type of institution and needs to consider another location. This is truly a neighborhood issue, and I trust and hope that the commissioners will have listened to the residents and taxpayers in that specific neighborhood, as well as the surrounding communities. Thank you. We will remember how you voted when we vote.
This is Deborah and Rolando Castro. We are residents of Coconut Grove. We live and work in the Grove. Our daughter attends Carrollton School of the Sacred Heart, and we are calling in reference to the vote to approve Villa Woodbine as an all-boys school in the North Grove. We live at 3683 Hibiscus Street, adjacent to the school, and we have found that they are an added benefit not only for their historic restoration of El Jardín, their educational high grade level opportunities for young girls in a diversified environment, and that their attention to detail and the environment and climate is of the utmost importance for Coconut Grove. We know that in the North Grove, they will see all the added benefits that are prevalent in the South Grove. We ask you to vote yes on this ruling. Thank you.
This is J.B. Diederich here in the Grove at 3758 60 Fro Avenue. I want to thank Commissioner Manolo Reyes for pushing for Chapter 23, Miami 21 historic designation to give us 60 days rather than 50 days. As you know, we had a really scramble the last time we were designated historic against our will. So I wanted to thank you very much for making the effort. I think the next thing that I would suggest is getting rid of the thematic designation and perhaps making a bigger effort to get rid of all the fees that we must pay. You guys, the mayor was kind enough to grant us a break from the fees, but it would be wonderful if that worked for everyone because it's not cheap. Anyway, as you can see, the house is beautiful. Still working on it, still will, and always will. Thank you.
My name is John Ewing. I live at 2121 Tiger Tail Avenue, Miami, Florida, 33133, 305-788-6589. Calling in reference to the Woodbine School issue. I'm opposed. I feel that the project is too large for the city, for the area that it's located. I feel like it's taking out too many of the trees, which is going to create increased temperatures and poor drainage, increasing flooding. I feel like the traffic is going to become untenable. The traffic on Tiger Tail is already gridlocked for 2 to 4 hours a day when Ransom Middle School is in session, with all the parents dropping their kids off and picking them up later. The project, the city of Miami, or the village of Coconut Grove, does not, the kids that go to this school will not be from Coconut Grove. They will be from other areas, Coral Gables included, and they'll be coming to the school by vehicles, their parents' vehicles, and creating more traffic. We don't need an additional private school in the Coconut Grove area. We already have many, as you know, and the size of the project is way out of scale for our residential area. Please reconsider and do not allow this project to go forward. Thank you.
Gary Gross, 2437 Tequesta Lane, Miami, Florida, 33133. Calling about the Carrollton's Woodbine School at Villa Woodbine, items PZ1-6981. Please vote against this debacle. We have too much traffic already. We need the canopy, and it is overwhelming, that already overwhelmed system. Please vote against this development. Thank you very much. My name is Gary Gross, and I vote.
I am Dr. Carl, Karl, Minch, Munch. I live at 1699 South Bayshore Lane and have lived there in the house that I built and own for 43 years. I oppose the school because of its effects on green space, traffic, and flooding. I feel it is against the best interests of the neighborhood and the city in general. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anelsa Mensch. My address is 1699 South Bayshore Lane, Coconut Grove, 33133. And I am calling about the Villa Woodbine School proposal. And my husband and I are totally against this because there is just too much concrete and fewer trees reduces the water absorption and aggravates our flooding at Kennedy Park and at our home neighborhood between South Bayshore Drive and the Bay. Please, commissioners, vote no. Stop this project. Not to mention the traffic also. We already have the Ransom Middle School, and we just can't have our Kennedy Park will be also, I know, used and overrun by the students of the school. And that Villa Woodbine property is much better used the way it has been by for parties and other events, but not to build any more concrete. Cynthia Seymour, who I respect and admire, has said that one of the reasons why we have so much flooding is because of too much concrete being built on many lots. And the lack of trees, and I have a biology background, even though I'm a CPA now. I know that the removal of all the trees that are planned to be removed with this project would be very detrimental to our neighborhood. Please listen to, and also we know the family that actually built Villa Woodbine as their home.
Hi, my name is Pablo Pulido. I'm the owner of 2838 Brickell Avenue, Miami, Florida, 33129. I am leaving a message for the Woodbine School. I support the project, and I would like to record that. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Ellie Haydock. I live at 1617 Tiger Tail Avenue, and I'm submitting this recording to the City of Miami Commission in reference to Carrollton School wishing to have a boys' school at Villa Woodbine property. There's a lot to consider for this project. I'm more curious as to why the applicant didn't go to PZAB first to make sure that the use could be changed to a school. And my recommendation or request to the commission is to delay the decision on this and ask the applicant to please go through the PZAB process so that its use can be considered before the HEP board appeal. I think it's necessary to get all those components on the table and decided in advance. Thank you very much.
Nathan Curlin, 3132 Day Avenue, Coconut Grove. Commissioners, I've had a busy day. I finished 3 books, and let me tell you, that's a lot of coloring. As Vice President of the Center Grove Neighbors Association, I have been asked to speak in passionate opposition to PZ 1 and 2, the Carrollton Woodbine School. There are so many reasons to reject this proposal, it's difficult to know where to begin. 1, the proposed school lacks compatibility with the existing single-family neighborhood. 2, the proposed school will increase traffic along an already traffic-choked Bayshore Drive and Tiger Tail Avenue. 3, the proposed school seeks to remove over 100, let me repeat, over 100 trees, an incredible, irreplaceable loss to our tree canopy. 4, the proposed quote, nonprofit, unquote, school will subtract additional millions of dollars from our tax rolls, placing additional burden on the taxpayers. Finally, as commissioners, you should recognize that this is a community issue that has galvanized Coconut Grove residents. We oppose another private school which offers little benefit to our community while diminishing our quality of life. Show us, by rejecting PZ 1 and 2, that even during these challenging times, quality of life issues matter. Thank you.
Hi, this is Paula Brezovchek. I am a resident in Coconut Grove, 2845 Coconut Avenue, Unit 3. I also am a business owner, 3444 Main Highway. The allure of the Grove is the natural fauna, and the green space is very important. By taking away this many acreage, you are going to have a significant impact on natural life. If this proposed change will happen, I do think that you should at least increase your green rooftop space, because I am an advocate of more green space and preserving the Grove for what it is, not having it become more city.
Hello, my name is Darren Koski. I live at 1320 Southwest 20th Street and would like to offer comment on item 6528. My comments come both as a resident of the area close enough to be directly affected by this decision and as a parent of a former student at Village Montessori. I strongly object to the development of a school of any size at its location, especially ones whose proposed footprint will encroach into our neighborhood and tear down 2 single-family homes. I'm supportive of the development along Coral Way, and as a resident here, enjoy walking to shops and businesses on 22nd Avenue. The school, however, brings a unique set of issues that other businesses do not. I'll briefly make 3 points. The first is crime. I personally had my vehicle broken into while picking up my daughter at the current Village Montessori location. And speaking with the officer who took the report, they mentioned that daycares and schools were often targets of smash and grabs, as the thieves knew that people would leave valuables in their car while running in or out. This is certainly held to be true. I live directly across from Coral Way K-8 and have witnessed the broken glass aftermath of vehicle break-ins several times. We have enough problems with theft in this neighborhood and do not need to invite any more. The second is traffic. There's already a major issue with traffic during pickup and drop-off for Coral Way K-8. The officer on site has done a great job with keeping things moving, but I simply can't imagine what's going to happen when the parents of 186 students of Village Montessori leave the proposed drop-off, turn north directly into Coral Way K-8 traffic 200 yards away. As with their current location, the parking lot will get swamped with everyone arriving at once, and those that can't get in will disperse into the neighborhood to find parking on swales, lawns, and private driveways. Lastly, I'll say that I've seen numerous accidents at the intersection of 13th Ave and 20th Street, as well as vehicles getting hit trying to cross Coral Way going south on 13th Ave. These are already dangerous intersections, and adding all this extra traffic, with drivers needing to navigate their way out of a residential neighborhood, is a bad mix. Please continue to develop Coral Way with shops and restaurants and parking garages or whatever's needed for those businesses to thrive, but a school in this location simply doesn't fit. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jean Ann Davis. I'm calling on behalf of myself and my husband, Len Rittenberg. Our address is 3013 Kirk Street, Coconut Grove, Florida. I'm speaking in respect to items PZ 1-6981 and PZ 2-6982. I'm in opposition to these items. I live a few blocks from the site where the trees are proposed to be torn down, where the traffic is already unbearably congested during normal times, during preschool and post-school hours, creating a safety hazard, creating congestion, creating pollution. It's sort of folk wisdom that a family should have no more children than it can feed and raise safely and in a healthy manner. Our community has many more schools than it can safely support. So please take this under consideration. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Ariel Kaufman. I live in 3757 Carbon Court in Coconut Grove. I am a physician that currently work at Mercy Hospital and have been working there for many years. I'm a urologist and I take call, including emergency call for Mercy Hospital, and I can relate to you that during the past years, there have been heavy traffic around South Bayshore Drive, part of which is related to the presence of Ransom School there. There are some medical emergencies like a stroke, heart attack, and others where 2 or 3 minutes can make a difference between life and death for the patients. There are a lot of patients and workers at Mercy Hospital that depend on a South Bayshore Drive clear of traffic or reasonable clear of traffic to get there. And many people who live in Coral Gables and Coconut Grove get access through Mercy Hospital through South Bayshore Drive. We who live in this neighborhood know how difficult it is, and it has become, to drive through that area, and it is not convenient at all for the sake and health of people who live and work in that area to have another school that's going to create more traffic problem situation, and that needs to be addressed before making any decision. I really appreciate. If you need any other suggestions, I'll be happy to assist you. Thank you very much.
This is Judith Kramer, address 2669 South Bayshore Drive, telephone number 786-475-9089. I'm leaving a message in reference to the Villa Woodbine items, PZ1-6981 and PZ2-6982. I am not in favor of adding any more traffic or schools in the neighborhood. We already suffer from congestion and inconsiderate drivers that don't stop at the lights for pedestrians. We need less traffic on South Bayshore and Tiger Tail, not more. Please consider the residents that live in this neighborhood and pay taxes and walk and enjoy a peaceful neighborhood. We do not need more traffic. We do not need the school. Again, Judy Kramer, 2669 South Bayshore Drive, 786-475-9089. Thank you.
My name is Jennifer Gear Diaz. My address is 3640 Royal Palm Avenue in Coconut Grove, Florida. I call to address comments on the Woodbine project. I am 100% for the Woodbine project. I do not believe that the pass-through traffic will affect any more than what Ransom currently affects, or what the effects of the traffic would be as a result of the buildings that are being erected on South Bayshore Drive. I ask you to consider Carrollton's history in preservation of historical monuments and buildings, and their desire to maintain the integrity of the plants and foliage and really preserve the true meaning of the Villa Woodbine and what it means to South Florida with respect to the community. We need an all-boys school with regards to this age group, and we feel that it would benefit the community not only presently, but in future generations to come. Thank you so much for your time.
Good afternoon. My name is Arlene Asalone. I live at 42 Southwest 31st Road, Miami 33129. I am calling regarding Carrollton's Woodbine School at Villa Woodbine, item PZ1-6981 and PZ2-6982. My comment is in the opposition of the school at that location. There is already way too much traffic in our neighborhood, and most especially in the morning and afternoon at peak traffic times when people are trying to take their kids to and from the schools that already exist within Coconut Grove. Most importantly, Tiger Tail and Bayshore both get backed up with parents in long lines waiting to drop off their children at Ransom Middle School, which is located just a couple doors down from the property where this Woodbine school is proposed. In addition to the increased traffic patterns, which I'm not certain that the neighborhood would be able to withstand, I don't think that in this historically designated site, it will accommodate the footprint of the plan that they have in place for the school. It's taking up way too much of the green space and knocking out trees that are an existing part of the Coconut Grove canopy. I and my husband are wholeheartedly against this school in this location. Coconut Grove does not need another school, especially a school where they will not be paying any taxes or anything that will benefit our community. Please say no to approving this school at Villa Woodbine. Thank you.
Yes, this is Jerry Cortese, address 15860 Northwest 14th Road, Pembroke Pines, Florida, 33028. This is regarding the public comment. This is regarding the commission for Carrollton School to build a school at Villa Woodbine Space. I'm begging you to please not do this. The infrastructure cannot handle that, whether it be traffic or the trees or the sewage or the storm sewage, and with the other schools in the surrounding area, it's just not a possible thing to do in a heavily populated area that again has plenty of traffic, and for the residents there it would be horrible. So please, I beg you not to do this. Thank you.
My name is George Lopez. Our address is 1889 South Bay Shore Drive. I am commenting on the application related to Sacred Heart School Boys at Woodbine. Honorable Commissioner Russell, which is our district commissioner, other commissioners, Honorable Mayor Suarez, we are pleased to stand with our Carrollton family in full support for this application, and we thank you in advance for considering our request for your support of the Sacred Heart School for Boys. We have been residing at our address here in Coconut Grove for over 15 years and have been raising our children very nearby the subject property. We have also attended all the hearings on the application, and unfortunately, because of the pandemic, are unable to join you today. In those hearings, we can offer the following observation: that we believe that every effort has been made in good faith to address the concerns of the surrounding property owners, our neighbors, and our friends. As Carrollton parents, we are exceedingly proud of the manner in which our team has presented itself, responded to those concerns, and in the professional manner in which we are presenting our application. We are also very grateful to the professional city staff that has helped us all, neighbors, applicants, and interested parties, in developing a better application and ultimately an exceptional project for all the residents and children that will participate in the future. Finally, we respectfully request your support for the application before you, and we thank you for your consideration and diligence in evaluating this application. Thank you, and warmest regards, Jorge Luis Lopez.
My name is Alan McGuffey from Northwest 61st Street. 2 bulk waste requests per year. Our county only allows us 2 bulk waste pickup requests per year. That policy is the reason why Little Haiti has such illegal dumping. People are coming from other parts of the town and come and drop their garbage there. People from Little Haiti will not call 611 to pick up the garbage because they only have 2 requests per year, which they can use for their own garbage. That policy is the reason why we're having this problem. 2 bulk waste requests per year. And I'm asking you guys to actually go back and review that policy, because 2 requests per year is not enough. We're gonna keep having this problem as
Our names are Mary Lou King and Karen Ansel. We live at 3240 Morris Lane, 2 houses down from the Villa Woodbine Historic Site. We are calling in to our opposition to that site being used by the Carleton School to repurpose it for Carleton School. We have been to hearings and meetings to express our opposition to repurposing the historic, unique site into a private school. We believe it would permanently and negatively change the historic character of the Grove and what the Grove is to the city of Miami. We have 3 major concerns. One is the destruction of canopy. Well over 50% of the old growth canopy would be removed and replaced with blacktop. This would result in serious runoff into the Biscayne Bay and reduce sustainability. 2, the historic Silver Bluffs, a unique geological feature of the city, would be covered and not easily seen by most people. Number 2, destruction of a residential community. So basically, a for-profit commercial enterprise. Sense of neighborhood would be severely eroded. Number 3, traffic congestion on already overburdened residential roads that must not be widened. Already approved development within the 33133 zip code has caused gridlock. We do not need to have any adding to that. This would destroy what the Grove is to Miami. We live next to Ransom School. We already have experienced every day what it means to have gridlock and cannot even exit our own community. Karen and I are not against development or schools of education. Hey, I used to work for the University of Miami School of Education. But the Grove is the wrong place for the additional private school. We respectfully ask that you do not approve the historic Villa Woodbine site for development into a private educational institution. There is a much better use for this site that would benefit all, not only who live in the Grove, but live in Miami.
That's the end of recorded public comments.
Are there any other public comments? Is there anyone else that came to the lecture in City Hall?
There was one person that said he was bringing back 3 other people for public comment, but they're not back. So
okay. Then I think we've come to the end of our public comment period. So we're going to close our public comment period for the agenda. Gentlemen, we have, because we have a lot of business to do today, I'm thinking that we could try to take our typical schedule where we try to have some business done, have lunch, and then come back to conclude the agenda. But I know we have a few minutes left, so let's try to get some business taken care of. And before I do that, I want to acknowledge another person whose birthday it is today. Vice Chairman, there's another person celebrating their birthday. I want to see if I can make this clear. I don't know if everyone can see this image. This young lady, her name is Erica Pascal. She's our finance director. She's a graduate of Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, and today's her birthday as well. So I want to say happy birthday to her. I know all the staff who see her should say happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
She's going to be embarrassed that I did that, but you know. So with the chair, first, Mr. Mayor, do you have any statement that you want to provide? If he's here. There aren't any mayoral vetoes. I think we asked that question before. So then the chair would like to entertain are there any continuances, withdrawals, or deferrals? Mr. Clerk.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chair, Commissioners, Madam City Attorney, Mr. City Clerk. At this time, the administration would like to defer and or withdraw the following items. On the regular agenda to be deferred, SR1, which is to amend the code for chapters 20, 29, and 54. To be withdrawn, DI1, which is the discussion on the Olympia Theater. On the PZ agenda, to be deferred, PZ1, which is the land use for 3040 Carter Street, 3065, 3069, 3091, and 3095 Plaza Street. To be deferred, PZ2, which is a rezoning of 3040 Carter Street, 3065, 3069, 3091, and 3095 Plaza Street. To be withdrawn, PZ3, which is the zoning text for auxiliary parking. To be indefinitely deferred, PZ5, which is also a zoning text, but for the attainable mixed income. And to be deferred until public hearings resume, PZ7, which is a Planning Zoning Advisory Board decision appeal for 1267 Southwest 22nd Street, 1292 Southwest 21st Terrace, and 2149 Southwest 13th Avenue. That concludes.
Excuse me, Mr. Manager. SR1 is going to be deferred to what date? Is it to the next lake meeting?
Yes.
And then is that the same for PZ1 and 2? They will be deferred to the next lake meeting?
That was a request of the applicant. I'm not sure what their request was specifically. I don't know if the planning department has more information on that. Jeremy, I see you're on, or Francisco?
Yes, Francisco Garcia. The request there, Mr. Manager, is that it be indefinitely deferred.
Indefinitely deferred. Okay.
And my apologies, that's PZ1 and 2?
Yes.
Okay, understood, sir. Deferred 1 and 2.
So move it.
Commissioners, are there any other items that we want to withdraw, continue to defer?
PZ7 is still on the agenda.
Seeing none, is there a motion in concurrence with what's on the record?
So moved.
We'll probably move seconded by the chair. All in favor, say aye. All against? That motion carries.
And Chair, just for clarification, PZ7 is still on the agenda. It's just going to be heard later on this afternoon. Is that correct? Mr. Planning Director?
My understanding as represented.
Mr. Clerk, I voted aye with that motion.
Understood. Again, Mr. Planning Director, PZ7 is still on the agenda. It can just be heard this afternoon.
As manager, item PZ7 was requested to be deferred until such time as meetings can take place in person.
Okay, so then what date is PZ7 being deferred to? Are we going to definitely defer it and bring it back? I'm sorry, I just can't hear you, Mr. Planning Director.
I will try again. My apologies. That would be tantamount, I imagine, to indefinitely defer.
So PZ7 is indefinitely deferred.
That is a request.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, the chair would like to entertain a motion to approve the CA, the PH, and the RE agenda.
CH, PH, RE agenda. I don't have any. I move it.
Plus, we can have a discussion on any item there.
I'm sorry, can you go through it again, Chair? PH?
The CA, the PH, and the RE agenda.
RE, okay, hold on.
Chairman, RE2 and 3, I believe, are to be modified. I think the administration has the information on that.
Okay, that'll be included in the motion when there's one made.
Okay, can we go to, well, this is all CA. Can you set the RE, correct?
That's correct.
Which we have 4 in the RE.
That's correct. And what we'll do while you're looking over it, let's have the city announce the modifications to RE2 and RE3.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Chris Rose, the Budget Director. RE2 does not need any amendment to it. but we would recommend a floor amendment to RE3. Overall, the amendment would lower the contract by $1,465,151.40. We're recommending that we amend the original contract down from $18,900,141.20 to $17,434,989.80. That's a reduction to the $1.4 million that I was saying earlier. We're still amending the contract in the item by the $7,062,800. That's to address the scope of work that Durham is requiring of us. So that results in a second amendment of, instead of $25,962,941.20, it should instead be a not to exceed amount of $24,497,798.80. So overall, it is simply a reduction of the $1.4 million I mentioned.
Thank you. So the chair would like to entertain a motion to include that modification.
Move it.
TA, PH, and RE. It's been properly moved, seconded by the chair. Discussion?
Chairman,
Yes.
did you want to make any modifications to RE4, the interlocal?
No.
Okay, thank you.
There no discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against? Motion passes. So I intended to have for us to have a small lunch break, so that, because I know that this could get lengthy.
Okay.
So in accordance with how we normally been doing things, because now we have a PZ agenda which kind of extends our day. So we're gonna go with our regular schedule and come back from lunch at 2:00.
Yeah. Can we take care of SR2 now? But before we go, it's only one item.
You want to? Okay.
Commissioner?
Yes.
Commissioner Reyes, if you will allow me, can we take it up after lunch, just so I could put 2 reports into the record, so I could send it to all of you, just so that it could be backup for this ordinance, since the ACLU today voiced their objections. I wanted to make sure we had
Which was expected. We was expected. I mean, and making a lot. They made this gentleman made a lot of statements that they are not real. They are totally unreal, and this does not preclude anybody from feeding people.
Right. So what we wanted to add, just send to all of you during the lunch break, so that could be placed in the record, was 2 reports from the health department and some photographs and videos about all the issues that you're trying to correct with regard to this
Fantastic.
ordinance.
Okay, very good. All right, let's have lunch then.
See you back.
Thank you. Mr. Chair.
Yes.
That's a beautiful, beautiful painting you have behind you. Where you got it?
Well, thank you very much. This is a part of I think it's from the Little Haiti culture.
The Little Haiti, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. It has the style, Haitian style.
Right, yeah, so it belongs to them.
That's right. That's right. It's beautiful.
I like the painting, but I really thought when you said it's a beautiful, beautiful, you were going to say that bow tie.
You know, every time I watch our Sherman with a bow tie, reminds me of a good friend of yours, Mr. Carollo.
That's right.
Brassy. Reminds me of him, you know. He was an excellent friend of yours, you know.
Yeah, I'm just happy I can be taken seriously.
Always.
Okay.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. 2:00.
Okay, 2:00.